Hey guys, this is Justin with zZounds, and I'm going to be showing you a walkthrough of the Arturia Keylab 88 Essential. As you probably guessed from the name, it has 88 keys, semi-weighted, and it's a MIDI controller. But the software component is where this really shines. It comes included with Arturia's Analog Lab 5, which includes their digital representations of a bunch of classic synthesizers, pianos, and organs. And it also gives you Ableton Live Lite. If you are familiar, or if you guys use Ableton out there, this integrates pretty seamlessly with Ableton. But it also has integration with other DAWs as well, but that comes included with the purchase of this, and there's a bunch of features that this thing has. So let's start with the available buttons and sliders and all the goodness we got here. Let's go to the left first. We got a pitch wheel and a mod wheel over here. So familiar to most people out there, pitch will just be controlling your pitch, so check it out. Typical, and then mod is just whatever modulation is programmed for that preset. Check out the sound in this case. So there you go. Now let's go to the other buttons that are right here. Chord is a cool feature if you want to kind of free up your hands to play more complex chord passages by storing a chord to that button. So if you hold the chord button and play a chord, and let go of the button, now I'm playing that same chord with just one finger instead of the entire chord. So you can do things like this. So you wouldn't be able to do that before. Then you could always just press the button again and then it goes away. So next to that is your transposition key. Transposition button, I should say, which transposes the key of the key bed. So if you're playing with a singer and they're like, can you bump that up a half step for me? All you got to do is hold the transposition key, choose the key you want to go to, and then the button stays lit. Now it's in a different key. And then if you want to turn that off, check it out. I'm playing that same chord. It goes back to the original key. So super handy for playing with singers or if you need to just quickly move keys. Now, you'll notice the button's still lit. In order to turn it off, all you have to do is hold it and press C. Press middle C and then it goes away. So let's check out the octave keys. Pretty self-explanatory, octave up or down. You can go 1 octave, 2 octaves up, 2 octaves down. So check it out. You'll hear what I mean. So, and notice the speed of the button. You'll notice that it blinks fast when it's 2 octaves, and it blinks slow when it's 1 octave. So check it out. Then we're going to go to octave down now. So you can go super low on this thing. But you might be wondering, well, how do I turn it off? Just press both keys at once. And then there you have it. So let's take a look at the center part of the controller. That's where your screen is at, as well as this big knob and these 2 left-right buttons for basic navigation. So let's take a look at these buttons. We have a category or character button and a preset button. If you go to the category or character button, it organizes the extensive bank of sounds by category, like instruments, or you could scroll through for types like bass, or even your favorites or liked sounds, and sound banks. So it kind of just helps you navigate through the tones quicker. If you don't want to do that, just go to the preset button, and then whatever sounds you're on, you can navigate quickly through the preset bank that way. So check it out. Here's a Mellotron sound. Or, then it says this is a Dream Wash sound. So pretty easy to do it that way. So let's take a look at these pads right here. You'll notice that there is a Analog Lab pad, a DAW pad, and then 6 user pads. These are able to be programmed to anything that you'd like in the user banks. So you could program these pads to function how you want them, whether it be programming individual drum sounds to the pads, entire kits to each of these pads. You could use them as pitches. You can also program these to basically function as a live bank. If you're playing live, you could do a different preset on each one of these pads and assign it however you like. There's actually a MIDI manager that it comes with, another software component where you can manually program that in the MIDI software there. But anyways, let's take a look at this map select button. That's what's going to select the sub function on the pad. So if I go here and I select Analog Lab, it's now going to be controlling Analog Lab functions with the pads. But if I do map select and I choose DAW, I actually really love this. Now it's controlling my DAW with this command center right here. This is the DAW command center. So you'll notice it has basic functionality like play, pause, stop, record, scrolling left and right. It's got a loop function. You could toggle a metronome on and off. You can punch in and out when you're recording. You could save files, undo files. It's great. So I'm going to go to my computer screen right here, and you see the Analog Lab function, the software. I'm going to pull that out of the way so you see my Logic screen. And check it out. I'm going to press play right now, and you're going to notice, see, my DAW is scrolling. I could even record. So it's recording in my microphone right there. So pretty sweet. So it's actually incredibly user-friendly. So if you guys are Ableton users out there, this is so handy if you do a lot of live looping and things like that. You could just seamlessly do that without even touching your computer. Okay, so let's go back and I'll show you how you can use the pads. And I'll pull back up the Analog Lab software. If you turn the pads off and don't have anything selected, it functions as just a melodic key bed. So check it out. So you can do something like this and just use the key bed. So let's say I like that. Then I'm going to go back to Logic and I'm going to record that now. So I'm going to go select DAW mode and I'm back to recording there and hit record and then just play that same thing I was playing before. So so cool. It's all right there ready to go. You see it in nice MIDI mapping right there from the keys, and my vocal got recorded. So really awesome integration of that, and there's a million other ways you can use this however you like. You can assign those pads however you like. When you are in DAW mode, you're still able to control Logic with the controller. So if you look over here, you'll notice extra features we can use. There's 9 encoders and there's 9 faders. The faders will control the faders in the channel faders in Logic, and then these encoders will control the panning. So let's go to the Logic screen, and then you'll see what I mean. So in Logic, you'll notice, let's just pick channel 6. You'll notice that my fader is being controlled by the fader on the controller. And then if you notice, if you want different panning, go to the encoder above that, and boom. You can pan left or right by just quickly spinning that encoder, so it's super handy, super intuitive. Let's go over to the map select and let's choose Analog Lab. Now it's going to control Analog Lab's features with their software for their instruments. So you could do that with the encoders and the faders again. That will control the preset parameters. So let's go to the Logic screen and check out Analog Lab again. And now that we're in here, you can see that these functions are controlled by the encoders and these are controlled by the faders. So it's super easy. So check it out. I've got a solo lead tone. I'm going to show you how it sounds first. All right, now let's go adjust some settings. So first up, we got brightness. So you can adjust the brightness from there, and then you can also adjust the attack below that with the faders on the controller. So really cool timbre over there too. So different functions like that. And check it out. I love the chorus and reverbs and delays they have on this too. So let's check it out with some chorus. So I'll just add so much depth to it with chorus there. And then how about the distortion? We got distortion on the panners. Really cool, like a bit crusher of sorts. And then delay, you can do a delay with that too. So let me just crank that and show you it. And then how about reverb? Reverb sounds good to me. Let's go throw some of that on there. It's actually a pretty nice sounding reverb too, if you ask me. So. Let's take a look at some of the tones that Analog Lab has, because there are so many to cover. There's about 6,500 in total with over 2,000 presets that it comes with, so it's super awesome. Let's take a look at one that I picked called Lavender Harmony. This is just a synthesizer sound, so check it out. Obviously it's beautiful, but let's say you want to mess around with more of the settings. You could obviously do all of the encoders and faders and adjust tones that way, but check it out. There's this edit preset button. Click on that and you'll notice that it opens up this menu. So you actually have individual control over each part of the chorus or the phaser or the delay or the reverb, and to dial it in exactly how you want. You also have the ability to order them how you want or pan it, and all sorts of other features, as well as this. Check it out. You got the mid and bass control right here, a master mid bass control, treble. You also have an ability right here to split the keyboard and put a different tone on the right versus left, or even stack them concurrently. So you can just, do like a piano on top of a Moog or whatever you want to do and stack them on top of each other. So that's under this functionality within Analog Lab. Here's a bass tone with the Mini Moog classic synthesizer, and I'm going to do some real-time manipulation of it. Here's an electric piano sound based on a Fender Rhodes. Here's a synth tone based on the Oberheim OBXA synth. It's also got classic digital synths like the Yamaha DX7. classic organ sound. They modeled a bunch of digital and analog synthesizers, but they also spent a lot of time doing physical modeling of different acoustic pianos, which makes them, an absolute joy to play since they're just really detailed. So I pulled up a Japanese acoustic piano, and I'm going to show you guys the tone of that. I mixed in a little bit of reverb with the encoder, and here's what that sounds like. Really pretty tones. All right, so that wraps it up. This is the Arturia Keylab 88 Essential. Beautiful piece of hardware. It looks and feels great. It comes with Analog Lab 5 and Ableton Live Lite, which is worth the cost of admission by itself. It's very intuitive, great control. It was a joy to use this, and I hope you enjoyed hearing this. Please do check it out at zZounds.com. It's the Arturia Keylab 88 Essential.